Dawn, I'm trying to let Ivan do the work, for goodness sake.
Yeah, right. Morning, folks. I think, yeah, it looks like the crowds are coming in. So fantastic. Good morning and welcome to everybody from the FOURWAYS chamber. A few new faces this morning, which is always great to see. So, yeah, if you can, just for a moment at least, if you wouldn't mind putting your videos on so people can see a face. If you want to switch it off after that, that's entirely up to you. But it's always nice to put a face and a name together if possible. So. A special welcome, as I say, for those of you who are new. My name's Ivan Anderson, one of the founders of the FOURWAYS Chamber, along with a few of the other folk that are on this forum. A lot of regulars here this morning again, which is absolutely fantastic. I think what we're going to do just very quickly is a whip around. Just give us your 30-second USP introduction, who you are, what you do, and then we'll start tapping into a little bit more detail about what folks are up to in these current situations, what's good, what's not good, what's hot, what's not hot, and find out how we can connect and collaborate and hopefully help everybody get excited about the opportunities that are being presented to all of us at the moment. So let's kick off with some of our regulars. So Rick, we'll start with you. So you'd like to just a quick intro and tell everybody who you are.
Good morning. My name is Rick Veringer. I find this lockdown and the consequences of it are becoming very intriguing for me. So, Trevor, I'm on a high in the sense of the demand that's been placed on me for the skills, my financial skills, and so on. As folks keep inquiring for advice, and I'm able to offer advice. It is so that a lot of the clients contacting me are because there's now going to be short pay or no pay, and we're having to recalculate in many instances. But my main task is to try and take the stress away. My name is Rick Veringer, and I'm a stress reliever.
Great, thanks, Rick. Dawn, let's come across to you.
Morning, everybody. My company is called Designs. We in the retail and expo manufacturing and installation full turnkey solution. And obviously, you all know as our industry has now come to a grinding halt. So during the lockdown, a few of the chamber members and ourselves have put together a virtual exhibition, which is very exciting and a great platform for any business to be part of.
Great, thanks, Dawn, and I'm sure we'll get into the virtual trade fair in a bit more detail later on. So Stella, let's come across to you. Seeing you swimming in your sea.
Morning, everybody. I'm Stella Kutsia. I'm a newly owner of a very new business, FHL Divorce Mediation. The last week, very exciting things happened to me where I was connected with a UK company or UK family law person that does custody cases. So I'm just awaiting on a final proposal to do business with him for mediation certificates that is required by law in the UK before you can go for a contested divorce. So unfortunately, that person became ill on Monday. Him and his wife is actually going at 12 o'clock for COVID-19 tests. So we couldn't finalize anything this week, but hopefully they are positive and will recover quickly so that we can continue the business. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Stella. Sorry to hear about that, but I think just for folks who don't know, we've made some fantastic connections with some international networking groups as well, and that's where that connection came through for Stella. So if you are interested in actually linking up with some international operations, we can connect you with those, as the session goes on. Let's go across to France. France, good morning. We haven't seen you for a short while, but great to have you on board this morning.
morning, everybody. Yes, I've been scarce. I've been running around trying to upskill myself and stay up to date with regard to all the changes and what is becoming, and trying to get rid, probably like most of us, of what is fake, what is fiction, what is fact, and what is the other F? There's another F. There's 4 Fs. I think all of us are in that situation. But yes, interesting times that we certainly are in, and I try to be involved and only link up. And I've certainly removed a lot of links of negative people and people with conspiracy theories and all of that ridiculous nonsense, because otherwise they will certainly pull you down.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks, Franz. Yeah, and just a quick note to folks, if you'd like to pop your contact details and note about your business into the chat box, I'll get that mailed around to everybody after the session, and any other comments and notes you'd like to make during the session, you're more than welcome to use the chat box as a means of actually adding additional value into the conversation. So please do that. Right, Masopa, are you with us?
I'm here, Ivan. Good morning, everybody. My name is Masopa. I'm a leather bag manufacturer, but we are currently now not as an essential goods, so we are not working. So I'm looking for the customers and the retailers.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll definitely chat about those, some definite opportunities, I think, for you guys with the virtual trade fair and other elements, which, as I said, we'll get into in a bit more detail as we go on with the session. So let's go across to Johan. Morning, Johan. You need to just unmute yourself, Johan. Okay, we'll try there for you. There we go.
Hello. Can you hear me, Ivan?
I can hear you. Just speak up a little bit. You're quite soft.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay,
yep.
Okay, yeah. My name is Johan Kron here from a company called Integral Learning. We specialize in, especially these days, helping companies to accomplish more with less through effective teamwork. And we introduce them to an internet system that enables them to interact with each other, very much like what we're doing here. But the internet system also enables them to measure their progress, to facilitate conversation, to help them to improve their effectiveness. So in essence, the team suddenly has become an essential element of company operations, and that's what I'm doing.
Great, thanks, Johan. Let's come across to one of our newbies this morning, Pierre. So we met you a little bit earlier on a different Zoom session, but a slightly different forum here. So I'd love to hear a bit more about you and your business, so and how you got to get onto this forum this morning. So welcome, Pierre. Ooh, not hearing you.
I have to unplug this and then I can speak. Here we go. Thank you very much, Ivan. And I see greetings to those faces that I saw before and to those that I didn't. Yes, I've a number of interests. I have started in the last 3 years, I started a corporate finance business, which does mergers and acquisitions, capital raising, through an extensive professional network. We also do various management consulting services, together with raising capital and so on. I'm a member of the International Christian Chamber of Commerce, and I met Jasper back in 2011, I think, and he's invited me to join your group, and I'm here as a interested business owner, member, advisor. And through this International Christian Chamber of Commerce, I'm actually heading up South African pro bono business advisory service, which we'll probably put into the marketplace in the next week or so.
Oh, fantastic, and welcome. Yeah, that sounds great. We will definitely be delving into some of the things that you're involved with in a bit more detail shortly, I'm sure. So great to have you on board. Luther, let's come across to you.
Thank you very much. I'm a new kid on the block, not in age, but in time being involved. Scott Kundle seems to be a mutual friend. When I made contact with him last week, where he seems to be locked down in a 5-star hotel in Bali, how unlucky can you get, you know? And I just applauded the video he just released. And then he introduced me to Jasper. And I've been chatting with Jasper ever since, and I've joined the GIG group, and this is the first one I attended here, because I think we're like-minded in what our passion is. My passion is twofold. One, my legacy I would love to leave is a seamless platform where entrepreneurs and those that serve them can connect and flourish. So this means I'm in a Slack group with an international group working on an international solution. And I'm intent rolling it out with the first pilot to be run out from next month for the West Coast or the Saldanha Bay area, one of the 205 municipalities. And once we have a working pilot there, we can roll it out to the other 204 municipalities. And hopefully we can sway the rest of the provinces and the government to get in line in terms of doing what is required to make business grow and flourish in South Africa. My personal contribution in helping entrepreneurs grow, I've developed a virtual business elevator. It's a virtual incubation, acceleration, and scaling tool that can be run at less than 1/10 of the traditional cost. It's just too high. Incubation acceleration goes around about 200,000 per business per annum. If you just River Sands, what it costs just to erect that building is ludicrous. I personally handle more staff than they have in that building, free of charge. So it's just no contest. And we need to move swiftly and gain, because the economic crash has happened. Who's going to survive, we do not know. But that we need to survive is essential, and we need to take up that challenge and make it work. Thank you.
Great, fantastic. Thanks, Luther, and welcome here as well. So I've also been chatting on some of the other forums so that Luther mentioned, and you also mentioned Scott Kundle. Scott Kundle, of course, is one of the Chamber's corporate sponsors. So we know Scotty well, and he's also provided us with the Zoom platform as the Chamber and our emailing system that was referred to earlier. We seem to have lost one or two people, but that's fine. That happens. Maybe power's gone down or connectivity's gone down, but not serious. Let's move on. So Herman, let's come across to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Herman Funk. I'm a social entrepreneur, and at the moment our particular focus is on training in agriculture, as well as assisting smallholder farmers to kind of morph eventually into proper entrepreneurs. I do that together with a couple of other companies I'm associated with. And our ultimate goal is actually to create a proper vocational training system for agriculture in South Africa. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Herman. Let's go across to Patson. Morning, Patson.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are well, enjoying another day. My name is Petsen from APM Security. We are specializing in guarding and protection services for home and business needs. We also do events, and especially at these times, we are available 24/7 for any emergencies. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Petson. Cecile, are you able to chat? I did see your comment a bit earlier. Are you there with us?
Yes, sorry, the phone rang in between. Hi, my name is Cecile van Rie. I'm the owner of a telecommunications company called Chit Chat Telecoms. What we've been doing for the past 16 years is telecoms. We help people connect to phones and internet. And now, in the last 2 months, there's not much of that because everyone seems to have connectivity already when they started the lockdown. But one of our PABX suppliers, one of the products that they do are the infrared thermometers as part of their safety bit. So that got me into this PPE market. So, the last month and a half, I've been selling infrared thermometers to measure the people's, to measure the fevers on foreheads. And every business that starts up must have that as a daily thing to measure their staff. So we're selling that. And thank you, Ivan, for Trevor and Ivan for LinkedIn, because I've actually had a lot of, funny enough, requests through LinkedIn on this. Never before did I have any LinkedIn interaction with anyone, but this started with LinkedIn. And the other things that we are doing is my brother-in-law has a factory that makes sanitizer and disinfectants. They've also pivoted. They used to do oils and stuff like that, recycling or whatever of oil. So I get sanitizers and disinfectants from him. I'm talking about big quantities, like 210-liter drums and 25-liter sanitizer drums and stuff like that. And little ones, but not just small ones, big ones as well. So companies are contacting us for that. And the other thing is my friend's brother has a factory that makes clothing. So they are manufacturing clothing, cloth masks. So we are selling quite a lot of those as well. And a lot of people are buying these face shields, which are better to wear than masks, because at least you can breathe. Even with glasses, Trevor, because the problem with all these others are they mist up, and when you wear a mask, you can't see after a while. So that's what I've been very, very busy with. And for my sins, I got the contract for AfriSam for their sanitizer and disinfectant. I think probably because of my stupidity, I marked up so small margins, so they gave me the contract. So, but hopefully this will be a long, ongoing contract, and we've pivoted the business, but I'm still with all of you.
Fantastic, thanks, Cecile. Trevor Kettler, let's come across to you.
Hi, morning everybody. I'm a business relations strategist. I help people to do business better, more cleverer, how's my English, and to get people on the right track, especially now. And I just hope this lockdown lasts for the next 10 years, because I have never been busier than I have now. So long live lockdown.
Fantastic, thanks, Trevor. Jasper, let's come across to you.
We had a guest house and a conference center before the lockdown, and it's been dead for the last 2 months, but like Trevor, I'm also very busy with many other things. So it is a very busy period. So my personal passion is in developing in communities and membership programs. And we specialize in getting all the regulatory stuff in place, which we have through a community bank and through a funding license that we can become a fund manager for any kind of funds that people want to set up, and all the insurances that goes with it. So I'm looking forward to see how the economy will look like after lockdown, and I think we're already experiencing that. And things like this upcoming trade fair is a strong sign in the right direction. And what we see in front of us now with this kind of networking, I can see this being the way forward, so that FOURWAYS Community Chamber of Commerce becomes Community Chamber of Commerce.
Great, thanks, Jasper. Right, Chivanel, are you able to join us?
Yep, closed all doors. Hopefully the outside noise doesn't come in. So thank you and welcome to the newbies into the chamber. I'm the CEO of the chamber, so my job is to keep pushing everyone to actually grow the chamber. And for those that are new, I can categorically state that we are without a shadow of doubt the most active chamber, which is a business enabler on the continent. And from what I can gather from all the networking that's on the go around the world. But it depends on the quality of the members and the participation of the members, like any other membership group. I'd also like to suggest to everyone, I'm working on a little LinkedIn article, Cecile, seeing that you mentioned that. And that is how nature, over this lockdown period, it gives us a little bit of time to go and sit outside and see what's happening. And I've got a beehive. I've told Trevor about it, I think, right next to us. And I noticed a couple of butterflies flying around the trees. And I think business networking at the moment, I'm starting to watch what people are doing all around the world. And I think business networking, people are actually involved in it either as butterflies or as bees, and some are involved as both. So let me explain. I was watching the two butterflies, and there were two butterflies just flitting around from leaf to leaf just to grab a little bit of pollen. And then on my left-hand side from the hive that is in a garden pot right next to us, thousands of bees actually going out with purpose and coming back with their honey and loading it into their store, just building their honey pot. And I see people in the networking environment right now doing exactly that. People are flitting from little thing to little thing to little thing, almost without purpose, hoping to grab a little bit of a drop of nectar. And these bees are out there with absolute purpose. They know what they want, they know where they're going, and they're coming back and they're working as a team to actually build that up. And I think what this lockdown has shown us is the power of a team. And you will see many of the people around here are part and parcel of project teams. And that virtual trade fair Africa, which I hope someone here that is involved will start talking about it, is a team developed project that actually came out of the chamber. So I'd love later on for us to get together with that. So welcome to all the newbies. Thank you for those that are really participating in depth. You're getting the rewards. And hopefully, Ivan, you will just connect us to the key people and we'll talk about Virtual Trade Fair Africa just now. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Trevor. We'll do. Cecilia, you wanted to add something in there?
Sorry. Interestingly enough, when Trevor was talking about the bees and the nature, one of my customers that lived close to the zoo said to me a week ago, "You cannot believe the activity, the animal activity in the zoo. The sounds. The lions are roaring all the time. You can hear all the animals all in the day and in the night because they don't have people gawking at them all the time." So and I just read somewhere that the pandas in some zoo, for the first time in 20 years, they are now mating because they don't have people looking at them every day. So it is, maybe the lockdown has been fantastic to actually just get our earth back to normality, because we've been stuffing it up good and solid for 30 years. Sorry, that's just my
same things are happening in my household. I'm talking about the gawking, Cecile.
I thought you were talking about the pandas. Fantastic. Yeah, no, always good to have a little bit of an aside. So thanks for that, Cecile. Okay, folks. I think let's start drilling in. So I'm really interested to dig down into some of the things that are happening. So some of the exciting things that are happening. It seems like most of us are pretty active here. Good things on the go. So let's dig into Pierre. I think I want to start with you. Funny enough, because you know, the elements of growing businesses, building businesses, connecting businesses is what we're about, and it sounds like you're very much in the same sort of game, but perhaps from a slightly different angle. And so I'd like to hear what's happening. What's your perception of business out there at the moment? How's your business going specifically in these times? And what are you seeing are the opportunities and the needs and demands from different entities?
On the surface report is that our economy is in a very bad shape. Obviously, the outcome of this, if it ended today, compared to the financial crisis of 2008, it would probably take twice as long to recover back to where it was. And that was not a good place in itself if we think back 2 or 3 months ago. So that's the surface story. Under the surface, well, let me continue. Maybe I think that we're in a very tight spot as businesses, because I don't know what our labor force is going to look like post-lockdown. In fact, if it doesn't get resolved probably within the next month, I fear social unrest might be the order of the day. And that's probably why one can see such a high military and security profile around our cities. The fact that our farmers can provide food is one thing, but there's so many other businesses that supply and transport and so on. And I just feel that the red tape has probably been too much for all of the activities to occur. And one of probably the biggest ones are the informal trading sector, which plays a very large role actually in the distribution of food and other goods. So that's the surface story. Under the surface, businesses are certainly reeling. I think businesses and business owners have tried to benefit from some of the financial interventions that the government has made available together with the banks and other financial institutions. But I think that that's also now come to an end. The population, and I think it would probably be fair to say that overall, even our middle class sector has now started to experience excessive debt levels, meaning they don't have the income streams to satisfy their debtors. And certainly in businesses, we're seeing that debtor levels have gone up significantly, as well as creditors. And so in essence, most of our economy, particularly small, medium-sized businesses, are likely to be facing technical bankruptcy right now and possibly in the next month or two, should things not change. Even if they do change, to get out of what we've lost is going to be substantial. Under the surface, so that's kind of in the middle, right down at the bottom, what we're seeing in our business. So we have a network of associates who are highly skilled professionals, accountants, lawyers, economists that all add value in high level capitalization transactions for businesses. And what we're hearing is that businesses are either planning shutdown or liquidation or business rescue, or they're considering mergers. And in some cases, we have about 20% of businesses are actually looking to benefit out of this situation. So businesses that might have cash reserves might be looking to pick up a bargain, and to a large extent, we're seeing possibly vertical integration opportunities. So when suppliers to businesses are taking strain, you might find that the purchasing entity might be looking to merge or to purchase their supplier, and likewise even upstream. So in the corporate finance industry, there's a lot of activity, but no one's actually pulling a trigger. So because of the uncertainty, we're talking transactions in excess of 30 million to 250 million. In some cases, we're dealing with 900 million transactions. No one can actually pull the trigger because of the uncertainty. Now that has a trickle down as well, because people that are in need aren't getting the funding, aren't getting the rescue. People that are owed money aren't able to collect money. The courts are jammed, some are closed. So the whole business as we knew it will not be the same going forward. Certainly when you have times like this, in the past, in the Depression, the wealthiest people today actually made their or got their wealth in the 30s, in the Depression. So it's a time for opportunity. It's also a time to refresh your thinking of how you did business, how you're doing business. And certainly I'm finding that it's much easier to bring a collective of people like yourselves together now than it was in the past. People are certainly hungry to interact on this level, not necessarily to find business, but sometimes to find advice or solace, if you want. So,
if I can just stop you for a moment there, Pierre, I see Trevor's wagging his finger at us. Normally when he does that, he's desperate to chip in. Okay. Let's give him an opportunity.
I want to be disrespectfully rude and interject here, because through my mind, and I look around at the folk in this particular network here, and I believe we all understand, some might not, but what is happening in the marketplace at the moment, and we're concerned. So as you're talking, I'm saying, so what the hell? So what? I'm interested in two things. Why is Pierre sharing the story? What's the moral of the story, number one, for Pierre? And where does the opportunity lie for the others of us sitting, listening in here? And I'm only doing that because I want everyone to actually get an opportunity to get to the nub of why they've come on board here and invested their time into this little session. So Pierre, moral of the story is what? And what's in it for you? And what's in it for the rest of the guy? And then I see Luther wants to rudely interrupt me.
Can I interrupt, Ivan? Because I'm a Sagittarius. I'm ruthlessly honest. I think we've wasted enough time talking about the subject. We need to get it going. Now, I'm so arrogant to say where I stay in Hopefield, I don't know if you guys know where it is. I've been trying for the past 4 years to reform Saldanha Bay municipality. But it's like Jesus said, I wanted to take you under my wings like a chicken, but you will not listen. I'm going to do a final approach next month. If not, I'm going to make all the agencies obsolete and implement a new system on my own, without government, without getting involved, with meeting with people and working with people like around this table and making the difference. Not talking about the difference, but making this difference.
I refuse to allow Luther to interrupt me again. Go for it, Pierre. Give us the moral of the story and what's in it for you and what's in it for the rest of us to be listening to you.
Thank you. I never thought I would share anything. So I was merely going to be a listener, and Ivan put me on the spot. So possibly the reason I've shared is to give my impression from the capital markets perspective and in the private equity industry, which would include venture capital and so on, because capital money, which follows on our previous discussion, is a fuel, and our businesses are vehicles. Our persons are vehicles. So money it doesn't matter what vehicle you have. If you don't have fuel, you cannot go anywhere. And so this is the problem. We have a shortage of cash.
Pierre, I'm giving you one more chance. What do you want out of this? And how can we make money with you, or what's the opportunity? Otherwise, I want to hear what Jeff Hapner is all about and why he's come back here and why he disappeared. Pierre, you've got 60 seconds. That's it.
So I don't want anything from you. Hopefully, I can give you value. I'm sharing with you because I have knowledge which you might not have, or which you might have.
So Pierre, if I can come in and just push you, and that's my role in this environment, not to be the most liked guy in town, but to actually get us to actually find out how we can actually make money by being connected to you. What is the size of your database that you connect to, Pierre, at the moment?
I can't say, because we have a network of approximately 14 professionals that have their own networks. So it's a very large network. Our link to international M&A professionals is we're over 250 professionals worldwide in over 100 countries.
And is this your operation, Pierre?
The South African operation is my operation. I work under license of a German business, which holds us all together, if you want, like a parent company.
All right. And you talked of yourself coming from ICC, and I don't know you. I don't know any of your background. Are you comfortably self-sufficient as a business operator?
Yes.
Okay, so this lockdown and everything that is happening with you and your own business, etc., you've got the wherewithal to see yourself through this for the next 36 months, let's say.
Maybe what I said before is no, because my business requires success rates of transactions to occur, whether somebody needs to loan a large amount of money or whether one needs to have an investor. So my business actually doesn't make money unless there are transactions happening.
And what are the scale of the transactions?
So the scale of our transactions are no less than 10 million.
Yep.
And our sweet spot is around 200, 250 million.
So your target market is who, Pierre?
So our target market is businesses turning over, I would suggest between 50 to 100 million, depending on their profitability.
And located where?
So we located officially in Sandton, I myself am based.
No. Sorry, your target market is located where?
Throughout the whole country. So we have associates throughout the whole country.
So so you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to get to understand where we can get involved with you. How many of these businesses that you've just described are your target? Give me a rough number. How many of them are out there in the South African environment?
It's a bit of a thumbs up, but it's a pretty educated one. We believe that there are 200 transactions a year in the region of 100 to 300 million rand.
So plus minus 200 is what you're saying?
Correct.
What's your biggest problem right now? And going forward over the next 3 to 6 months, if this lockdown stays at whatever, 3, 4, or 5 phases?
What's our, sorry, I didn't hear. What's our biggest problem?
Yes. What's your biggest challenge, or what's on your wish list if this lockdown continues for another 3, 4, 5, 6 months?
The biggest challenge for me is the fact that decisions can't be made while where we are right now. So what I would like to see is that people realize that things are going to be bad for the next 10 years, and that they make a decision how they're going to actually operate their business or invest in other businesses or liquidate their businesses, so they can do that now as opposed to prolonging the pain.
Last question, Pierre. Are you connected to the key decision makers in those plus minus 200 organizations?
I'm not connected to all of them because they obviously change per annum. So they're 200 per annum transactions.
How many of them are you connected to?
Right now, I'm connected to approximately, well, I don't know those that are coming up this year, but I'm currently working on approximately 20 projects of various kinds of different sizes.
No, you're not answering my question. I said, how many are you connected to?
Are you asking about the extent of my network?
Of the 200.
No, I don't know. You don't know who's going to make a decision to retire next year. So there are 200 transactions. There might be 1,000 businesses.
Okay, listen, there's a lot of exploring, and I hope for the newbies you get in an idea of what you've got to do, because we've only got 90 minutes here. There's a guy here that I see that I've never met before. He'll probably tell me I meet with him once a week in the pub, and I don't know who he is because I'm drunk. It looks like his name is Jeff Hampton. Have we heard from Jeff, Ivan?
We haven't. No. Jeff had a little bit of a crisis he needed to dash off and sort out, but he came back. So thanks for coming back, Jeff. So,
can I just say thanks, Trevor? I think you've mediated that information out of me quite well. I appreciate it.
No, you haven't heard me yet. You'll take me even more later on. Yeah.
I'm happy to talk offline also.
So now let me see if I can get the two of you to shut up for a while so you can hear from somebody else for a change. so Jeff, well, welcome on board. Love to hear a bit about you and how you got to be here and what you do.
So the first question I've got is, Trevor, do you have any Spanish blood in you? Because I mean, that's a bit like the Spanish Inquisition, the way you were going there. Anyway. My name's Jeff Hampton. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of a medical company based in Sandton. The reason I came here today is because Ivan keeps plying me with emails, and I thought before I say unsubscribe and don't send any more, let me find out what you're all about. We run a small to medium to large medical company running 5 divisions through 5 medical specialities. And the reason that I disappeared was because we had a patient on the table in one of the hospitals, and of course the hospitals right now are not buying stock because they're trying to, their bed occupancy rates have obviously dropped dramatically because of COVID-19 and the reduction in elective surgery, which has also created a huge problem for us because we're running at 25% of our normal turnover. Our pricing runs at an exchange rate of around 14. The exchange rate's gone to 19 and buying at 19.50, whatever it is. So our margins are dropping dramatically. We're having stupid situations where the hospital groups are now asking our reps to do COVID-19 tests every 2 weeks. which is costing me in about 100 to 200,000 Rand a month to test my staff because I've got over 50 reps. And now the latest thing that came up yesterday is that we need to supply our own PPE when we go into the hospital groups, which they've been doing all these years. So our margins are dropping dramatically and our costs are just incrementally increasing, and our turnover has dropped dramatically. And I was quite interested with one of the questions that was asked by you, Trevor, about surviving for the next 36 months. I'm not sure that any medium-sized company can survive with the current thing for the next 36 months. I think there needs to be some serious innovation and some serious education in terms of the public and in terms of funders and in terms of hospital groups as to how we're all going to get through this. I mean, I think that if it goes through to the end of this year, we're going to see a massive drop. So I can tell you now that when there was an establishment license requirement for medical companies, which we've been fighting to get regulations for years, and we're on that pathway. But when companies, there were 1,200 medical companies in South Africa that applied for an establishment license. I reckon that if this continues for the end of the year, you're going to get down to about 100 out of the 1,200. I don't think that 1,100 are going to survive, to be honest. So I'm just very interested to hear what's happening here and to see, because one of the things that we're looking at as an organization is expanding outside of the medical industry as well. We want to invest in other areas because this industry itself, although a very honorable industry and one to work in, has its challenges, as do all industries, and we're looking to, shall we say, expand our portfolio into other areas. So that's the reason for me being here.
Right, fantastic. Thanks, Jeff, for that. And I think you raised some very key points there. I'm sure that there'll be a number of questions and comments coming in there. But I'd just like to pop across to someone else who's just joined us and we haven't seen for a while, but I know he's also been very busy with his own operations, and that's Elliot. So Elliot, welcome on board this morning. Haven't seen you for some time. Love to hear what you guys are doing at the on the Israeli side and the chamber there and your operations, and how you are seeing the current situation, especially from a technological perspective. I mean, there must be lots of innovations and opportunities coming along from there.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me back online. Well, back with you. While I prefer seeing you guys in person, this is the first time I'm joining a meeting get-together while helping my 4-year-old make Mother's Day arts and crafts. So please excuse if there's any unusual, well, I suppose now usual disturbances. It looks like Trevor would like one as well. So guys, so basically, for those of you who don't know me, I really enjoy joining in with the Community Chamber of Commerce event, because at the trade office we try and connect our Israeli innovations and businesses with South African companies. And of course, like so many, like most other people, most of our operations have now gone online. And the thing that I suppose I can share, other than the actual Israeli technology and innovations that we are still bringing in, is the methods in which we are trying to maintain some sort of business and community value in our networking. We're trying to achieve as many of the benefits of going for coffees, seeing people at conferences, rubbing shoulders, and meeting people in. So excuse me, guys. So yeah, we're doing. So first of all, we have a hell of a lot of webinars going on at the moment. I know a webinar is almost a rude word at the moment. People are getting so sick of them. But we are trying to expose segment by segment different Israeli technologies. And as we do so and we reach different markets, different companies in South Africa, we're seeing interesting ways in which companies are adapting or changing the way in which they run their business, so that they can first of all get or improve business during this level of lockdown, and more importantly, accepting that there's little we're going to be able to do to change or control this evolving COVID situation, and therefore to try and show some agility in preparing for, in setting up for a different world of business, a business where has many retail and retail products and services can still be delivered in a socially distanced environment for at least the next year and a half. We're seeing a big move on on the vehicular setup, we've got many different car companies and technology companies trying to use different fleets of commercial vehicles, trying to ready things to deliver cold chain production things on a food and medical side of things, setting up mobile labs and mobile clinics, mobile gyms. Even we even have one company who's rented out he's leased out a fleet of vehicles which he's turning into super clean mobile gyms, so that he can go from complex to complex or office to office, keeping up health and fitness sort of things. So we're trying to so we're seeing many different adaptations of business at this time, and we're trying to assist that by first of all making sure that people can manage their business and run it remotely, and also to do so as securely as possible. I'm seeing a question: any connections to agriculture technology? Well, first of all, we definitely have a hell of a lot of agriculture technology at the moment. It's we have an expert in house who's solely focused on the agriculture technology. So that was from Herman. Where's Herman? Herman, let's be more specific. Otherwise I'm going to go on my agriculture tech agriculture tech presentation.
Elliot, why don't we connect directly and have a conversation around what I'm doing, what we might be looking for, etc., etc. I know that Israel has been able to create land out of unfertile tracts, which we have plenty in this country as well. So let's take it out of this conversation because it's quite specific, I think. If that's okay with you,
absolutely.
I mention my email address again, and maybe we can connect there. Thank you.
Great. I'll make sure we connect outside of the conversation. I don't know if Trevor's putting up his hand for a question or if he's doing his dance, but you have a few dances, Trevor.
No, because I am so excited by the quality of individuals in this network. I know, and I'm sure, Pierre has not connected to you, Elliot, and I don't know if Jeff has connected to you. But guys, these are the level of connections that you actually want to have urgently to actually discuss how you can connect with people who have the same challenges that we all have in this network forum. So I think let's stop it there, Elliot, because you have got so much connection locally throughout Africa and globally, but do not leave until you've heard about our Virtual Trade Fair Africa, because you're an important part of this mix. So you are here till 11 o'clock, Elliot, yes?
I will be at least listening in till 11 o'clock while my children dictate whether or not my work day happens. Yeah. First of all, I'm looking forward to hearing about it, and second of all, other than Herman, if anyone wants to connect on outside of this conversation and see if I might have any ideas, which usually comes through technology, so that I can assist.
So, hey, listen, you're worse than Pierre, for goodness sake, man. These Israelis, they don't stop talking. Just everyone, put your contact details in the chat box and then save that so that you can actually have off-session discussions after 11 o'clock. Vitally important. We've got to work at speed. So, Ivan, my apologies. You know who you want to bring on.
No, sure. Well, I think, we've spoken a number of times about the Virtual Trade Fair, so I think perhaps I must get you and Jasper to chat about that quickly. So if you maybe want to kick it off, Trevor, from your point of view, then I'll bring Jasper in and let's just get people up to speed so they're not wondering what this thing is that we keep on referring to, and we just get a bit of clarity and people know what's going on there.
So we're at 10:25, and I'm just looking to make certain that everyone has had value. Just make certain if you haven't had value, you put your details into that chat box. Okay. So what's got me fired up about the Virtual Trade Fair is that it came to fruition about 40 odd days ago at the beginning of the 21-day lockdown period. We were in discussion with Dawn about taking the chamber to our FOURWAYS Mall partners that have played with us in the setup of the FOURWAYS Chamber, and looking to get an exhibition going for their 485 retailers and our chamber members to get them to collaborate and connect. And that was now 40 odd days ago. And what blew me away is within 21 days, chamber members came together, they brought their resources in and put together a foundation template which allows for not a physical exhibition or expo space. And as Dawn introduced herself, that industry was wiped out within 2 days of the lockdown, completely wiped out. They didn't know whether they were Arthur or Martha. I think they've only got up yesterday, and Dawn will tell you about their webinar. And within 21 days, with Dawn's input in, with the chamber members' connections, we came up with a virtual trade fair platform. That platform has been designed to allow every business operator, all of us together here, to actually have a format that we can go out and market to our consumers, whoever they are, clients, target markets, high-level small businesses, it doesn't matter, who are sitting at home and cannot get out to physical businesses and go and meet with people. So we've used everything virtual to connect these people, but we have retained the look and feel of a physical exhibition. So it's almost like all of us together have formed this huge Gallagher come Northgate Mall meeting place where we together can go to our databases and say, hey, come and meet with us. We've got quality speakers, we've got business networking like this, we've got every format possible virtually for people to grow. Now, the trick is if each of us have 1,000 key people in our databases that we invite to this 4-day trade fair, 1,000, and we're targeting 1,000 exhibitors, that's 1 million visitors to that 4-day trade fair online. That's what excites me about this. And we've pitched it highly affordable because we know everyone is sitting out there turning around and saying, okay, what do I do with our money? For the corporates, I mean, this is, it's embarrassing how cheap this thing is. But we've opened it up to everyone that is marketing oriented to come on board. So that little introduction, Jasper, because you were one of the primary drivers and stimulated the seed behind this, do you want to take off from there and just share what your excitement is about the virtual trade fair and add in anything that I've left out?
All right, thanks, Trevor. Yes, I think we are fortunate that for the last 3 years with the community chamber, we started to attract quite a diverse group of people who brought with them skills and networks that prepared us for the time such as this. Now, going forward, and it came from all the various input from the various speakers, in this new economy, you're as good as your networks, you're as good as the relationships and the trust relationships that are in place. But you also need a platform to tell people who you are. And then there are also businesses that now have to be repositioned. And what we have here in the chamber is then a panel of specialists from a diverse walk of life. And we can provide the whole experience from an entry-level business who just want to learn more about what is my next step in business, up to people who are now ready to take it to the next level. And we have people in the forum who've already taken businesses to listing and the likes. So what we have and what is all coming together in the trade fair is our network, is our choice of membership. So we've got membership at the 250 Rand level per month, 500 Rand level per month, and 1,000 Rand level per month. And at the top of the level, people have access to the networks. People already own their own, we already own our own community bank within the group, access to things like interest-free loans. But at the top level, we also then have like a virtual board where once a month we really drill down, and this current platform doesn't allow us to go through that drilling, but drilling down into the needs of every business out there, and it's simultaneously a bit of an accountability partnership for them, as well as getting access to a panel of specialists that would normally cost you tens, if not more thousands of rands just to have that expertise. So what we've done in the trade fair is to say, let's have a focus point, because when we drive to an impending event, we tend to get more things done. So the impending event is 19 June to 22nd of June, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's a 4-day event, 24/7. And we have an opportunity for people, like Trevor Kettler is our specialist, to say, make yourself a specialist in your field. And he can teach you how in a very short space of time, position yourself as the specialist. Well, we're going to give you a platform to become that specialist, because we are looking for 8 times 4 speakers who are willing to speak on a topic of relevance. And relevance meaning, I mean, everybody can now become a specialist, because the old thinking is wiped off the table, and anyone who thinks he's got a solution for this post-lockdown economy will become a specialist just by speaking on a topic of your choice. So I'm going to take over the screen just now and just show you where to go, but I just want to bring it all together. So it's a mix of a chance for you as a speaker, even if though you're not going to be an exhibitor. Send us your topic, apply to become a speaker, and if we have too many speakers, you know, there will be some chances further in the future. But there will be a total of 32 speakers. We'll give an hour each per day for maybe a session of 30 minutes and questions and answers. And this is your chance to position yourself. If you have books to sell, that will be what's in it for you, to sell your books or make yourself known as the specialist in that field. But that will help to attract people to come. Then the exhibitors themselves will each get 250 tickets that they can use as a tool to make them look good with their client base. Now the tickets would sell at 150 Rand. There's an early bird ticket for 50 bucks, but they can even give it away for free. And that value alone is about 37,000 Rand of marketing, immediate marketing for the exhibitor. And then we throw in automatic membership at the various levels. If people just come for the virtual trade fair, they get the entry-level membership for the next 12 months. If they come for the virtual trade fair plus our virtual mall that will continue for the next 12 months after that, they also get thrown in our top premier membership, which gives them access to the whole board once a month virtual board meeting. So I just want to take you to the, and then you can navigate there from yourself. Let me just quickly take over here. So can you see the screen there? All right. So on the exhibitor registration, people who want to know how do I become involved on the as an exhibitor, they can literally set up their own thing as an assisted, or they can get assistance from some of our professional people, Dawn amongst others. But they can also just go there, choose their package, set up your store. All the information is there. And then the cost of the trade fair itself for those 4-day event, the normal price is 7,500 Rand, but we have an early bird special that will run until the end of May at 7,500, which includes 12 months membership at the entry level for the chamber. But for all the effort you're going to do and get yourself setting up yourself professionally, you may as well then enter into the mall after that. And then the mall will be the place where all our exhibitors will give their address out to all their customers, and other people's customers can become your customers in future. So it's an extension of what we are doing on this platform right now. And all of that inclusive, now the total package is 31,000, but all of that you can get for 13,500, included our premier membership, which would currently cost you 1,000 Rand a month. So to know where to go, you just register yourself Let me just go back to the virtual trade fair. For speaker registration, you click that button. You can also, if you think you've got a network and an influence, there's to help us promote it to exhibitors, there's a promoter registration. You can help us do that. And then once people are in the trade fair, they will have things like an information desk where they can see what's currently happening. So some of our existing members have already registered themselves there. And you can just have a look at what is the kind of look and feel. And I'm just picking on Gavin because he's already created a booth. And your booth would be, and you can make it far more sophisticated than that. But if people click on your profile, they'll be able to do live chat with you. You can have your products and services displayed in the form of another item there. Then all our visitors will be able to get a goodie bag, so every exhibitor can give away free stuff like a coupon of discount and whatever the case may be. You could have information in the form of brochures and videos, and that you put there. So this is just an idea of what could happen for you on that day. There will be an auditorium where people can mix. Okay, the auditorium will be the lectures and presentations, and we will then promote every lecturer. Then the networking lounge is where all the interaction can take place. So because it's happening over a whole 4-day event, people can come in, go out, come back in, and it's going to be a massive value for people. I think this is enough for now. If you need to know more, speak to the person who introduced you to this platform. And if you want to know more on how can I become involved as an exhibitor or a promoter, speak to myself, Trevor, or Ivan, and we will then take it from there.
Great, thanks, Jasper. Yeah, so I'd just like to add a couple of quick things on there, just in addition to what Jasper said. So if you look at the second package that we've got on offer there on the early bird special at 13,500 Rand, we've calculated actually there's about 70,000 Rand. Somebody muted me there. I don't know how that happened. So I'm not sure where I got cut off, but I think I was saying there's about 70,000 Rands worth of value bundled into that 13,500 Rand early bird special that we've got on offer there. So you've got 250 tickets to invite your guests. So it's a 37,500 Rand value. You've got a 10,000 Rand chamber premium membership per annum. You've got a 13,500 Rand virtual mall benefit for 12 months, and you've got the trade fair itself. So massive value that we believe we're adding into that particular package. And then if you become a promoter, any people that you invite into exhibits in the show, you earn 15% comm on those introductions that actually come in. So for seven introductions, you can actually have your entire thing paid for quite simply. So I think there's huge opportunity and huge value on offer in the trade fair there. So yeah, that's just a wrap up from my side. Has anybody got any comments or questions they'd like to make on that, or any more information that you need? We can chat. We also run a weekday Zoom session from 12 to 12:30, specifically focused on the trade fair. It's on the same Zoom ID as this meeting is. So if you'd like to join that session between 12 and 12:30, Monday to Friday, we discuss the fair specifically in those sessions. So, and everybody's welcome to join those sessions as well. All right, so any questions on that? Pierre, so Pierre's question was just, is the fair open to business from other geographic areas? Absolutely. So because it's virtual, there's no limitations. So we're going international with this one, Pierre. We've actually got an event up on Eventbrite, which is a ticketing system in the States. That's all priced in US dollars. So we've got, from the networks that we some of us are part of, Never Ending Networks, and a few of the others, we've already put out the word to people in the UK and Australia, Scotty and Bali, chaps in Ghana, So yeah, we're spreading this as far and as wide as we can. So absolutely no geographical restrictions whatsoever to exhibitors or visitors. So it's going to be open to all. One of the other questions that's often been asked is there a vertical theme, as you would typically find in a traditional trade fair? Again, the answer is no. We open to all sorts of businesses, all shapes and sizes. If there are specific large corporations or promoters that want a vertical theme within the trade fair, we'll accommodate that on request. So we'll create verticals if the demand is there. And we're also offering the opportunity for specialized virtual trade fairs post this particular event, if people specifically want that, or even white labeled events. So, those opportunities are all going to be going to be available going forward to interested parties. So yeah, lots of opportunity, I think, and we certainly have had some good interest, and we're hoping to accelerate that process through in the next couple of weeks up to the actual event on the 19th. All right, any other questions, comments on that? Guy, I don't know that we've actually spoken to you this morning. You came in a bit late, and you've been sitting quietly in your corner there, behaving yourself unusually. So maybe just pick up with you and just introduce yourself to the folk, and maybe any comments you want to make.
Yeah, I did WhatsApp you. I had a prior Zoom meeting till 10. Yeah, to the new folk, Trevor, Jasper, Trevor Kettler, Trevor Nell, Dawn, and Ivan. There's a lot of experience. They're very passionate. They've thought through the detail. They're going to get momentum. And this forum, if one stays at it and sticks at it, you will see the benefits as time moves on. So to Pierre and Elliot, you're two new guys. Jeff has left us. You're definitely going to find value. However you want to define that value, you'll move out of this operation and move out of these sessions having obtained some value. So thank you.
Great, thanks, Guy. Right, Elliot, yeah.
Sorry, I was just responding and thanks to Guy.
Good, no problem. But your thoughts? I don't know how much you caught on the virtual trade fair there, Elliot. Did you get any?
I have. I like. First of all, thanks for letting us know about the virtual take, and of course, if there's any way we can contribute, because I'm as I'm representing a national government office, I'm of course more on the giving side than the regular business scouting side. So I'm also here to see how I can contribute to community and to your and to the digital setup as well. The thing that I found very useful on some of the digital setup conferences, I don't think we've coined a term yet for having for turning expos digital, but whatever it is, the thing that I found quite useful is having the option of some expert hand-holding when it comes to either cross-segment collaboration, or even without any vertical focus or theme, to have in specific verticals as a part of the arrangement setup. It's very useful having an expert to kind of hold your hand, because while we to some extent know what we're looking for, when it comes to these sort of things, we usually don't know what we're looking for. And you find out, if we're walking into a conference room, walking around an expo and seeing all the swag and having salesmen walking out at us, we kind of we find out what we don't know. We see how much sand there is to play with in the sand pit. So I find when it comes to the digital setup, having someone making sure you don't miss things when you go on mute, when you jump in and out of it, is very useful. So that would be a suggestion I have. And glad to discuss it further outside, but otherwise, as I said, would love to contribute, and thank you for setting up the communities.
Great, thanks, Elliot. Yeah, we'd love to have your input and your involvement in the trade fair in whatever form. So thanks, I really appreciate it, and we'll definitely be connecting with you on that. Jasper, you put your hand up there, I think.
Yes, a question came up and I handled it privately, but I think it's important as well. We need to, and like Trevor keeps on challenging us to think out of the box and not be confined by your old thinking. Just because of a pricing structure, that doesn't mean it's like having a car and only one person is in the car. Well, organize a lift club. If one person can't afford a booth, but you are maybe part of a value chain, and I'm just putting words now in the mouth of, call it Masopa. So he's in leather goods. What would be a typical value chain for him? Who provides? Who provides the leather? And then he makes bags, but what else is being made out of leather? And then who are possible vendors who then take it further and get that whole cooperative group together and collectively take a booth. So just think out of the box. And then also, even if small business people can't come have a booth of their own, they would have so much value on that day to become a visitor, buy a visitor's ticket, and just go around and walk around the various booths, interact with the people, ask questions, because a lot of opportunities will be there for smaller businesses to connect. And I think this is how we should see this whole thing, as just a arranged event that cuts across all business sectors, especially the first one.
Great, thanks for that, Jasper. Yeah, and then I think you know, the quality of the speakers that have put their hands up so far, and I'm sure we're still going to get many more. You know, the value that's going to be added in terms of the 32 speakers that we're looking to have over the 4 days is going to be significant as well. So I think there's going to be massive value across the board. But you know, I think the beauty of it, this is our event. We have the ability to be flexible within certain tolerances and certain limits. So if people really feel that they'd like to be part of it, and they, you know, they are struggling to justify a fee, you know, come and talk to us. You know, we have proudly said at many of our meetings, we have no rules. You know, so let's not start putting rules in the way now of things. And we're open to discussion. So, you know, bring us the cases that merit merit a booth on the system, and you know, we'll absolutely consider it without a shadow of doubt. So let's not put hurdles in the way that aren't actually there. I think, you know, in reality, the pricing is excellent compared to any other system, any other offering that's out there at the moment. There's massive value on offer here at very affordable prices by comparison to what we've seen internationally. But that doesn't mean we're not going to be flexible. So let's talk on that.
And I'd like to point out to both Pierre and Elliot, and I'm looking, Trevor also targets high value corporates where there are few at the top of our economy. What we've got to be doing is we've got to be targeting those 200, 500, 1,000 economic leaders out there. I mean, I've already just sent a message out to Jeff at his operation. I want to understand how much is he turning over, and you can hear from the guys' input. Guys are thinking. I mean, you just have to look at Edgar's and how CEO breaks down in tears. Look at SAA, because everyone has the same challenge, and we've got to be inviting folk from whatever level, from the highest corporates out there that we think are able to survive this economy, down to the smallest, have got to be given an opportunity. And I'm targeting you, Pierre and Elliot, because we need the leaders in business still to be showing the way for everyone else in this economy. It's going to be tough, but we have to be tougher than this. And what I love about what happened here is a bunch of local business operators in a local chamber turned around and said, let's develop a local solution and let's see how we can bridge the gap between an industry that's completely wiped out the exhibition expo industry, who were normally doing billions in turnover and are now doing nothing. But there's an entire market of companies, businesses, business operators who need to be out there marketing. And we know what people are doing right now. They're sitting back, they're clustering in their houses, they're talking about the government this and China that and that there, when none of that is going to help us move forward. We have to be marketing oriented. And this solution has been developed locally. So, Elliot, I'm hoping you picking up just a little bit of the passion that is behind this operation, and that we need guys like you and Pierre who need to be connected to these top echelons to be working with us and showing people, rewarding a bunch of people who have got the passion to go out there and develop local solutions when others are wanting to jump off the bridges. Elliot, help me, please.
I totally share. I share this passion. I share this passion with you, as you know, Trevor. That's why I love coming along, joining your sessions whenever I can, and I'm very much here to help however I can. But I think it's also important to not just to look at the corporates in that way, as you know, they're no longer the big prize for collaboration, because they have enormous overheads. They're going to suffer financially as well. While they might be able to survive it being as big as they are, they don't have agility. They don't have the way to think and run business like, normal businesses do. Don't know if I can call it normal businesses, but you know what I mean. And I think with that, it's so important that as we go through the rapid changes at the moment, to not be afraid to be agile, and in being agile, not to view whatever it is you do as a product or a service, but to make sure you maintain an expertise in what you do, so that you can be agile and repackaging it in offering your service differently. Because from the people in this group as well today, I don't think anyone's working in any vertical or segment that won't be allowed to function until we finished level 1 of lockdown. And everyone here has expertise which can be repackaged and reboosted in a way that these big corporates just can't handle.
So Elliot, let me just ask you a question. I'm going to put you on the spot. Listen, you can mute yourself and switch your recording off if I've pushed your button too much, okay? And that is, you're clearly here to connect Israeli business with South African business, a mutual collaboration, and make things work.
For now.
How many businesses are you connected to that can be influenced by you to understand what we are doing and to participate? I mean, what's your leverage? What's your influence? How much have you got to invest in Virtual Trade Fair Africa out of your budget? Can you afford to put 90% in? Or I'm pushing you now.
I'm glad that I don't need to answer that, because I have a boss who answers anything with the word budget in it for the best part. But
please, I know she's in the next room, eh?
No, no. My boss is in our office today in Sandton. I'm speaking to you from sunny Pretoria. So when it comes to what I could do to help, I mean, we have enormous social media networks, and we're losing plenty of sleep trying to keep our big audiences of South African businesses engaged with all sorts of business content. So while of course I need to do it in a specific way that that attains to what the office does and what our Israeli taxpayers' money is paying for us to do, any way that we can boost and connect business to improve business environment, as far as we can tell, is doing our job correctly. So look, if we can connect more businesses, then we will do that. I'll say though, outside of my office's work, I did tell this to you a year and a half ago, but now it's actually true that I'm only going to be in South Africa as a part of this office for a few more weeks or months, depending on what COVID does to us. So once I separate from my office, I will be working not only to promote Israeli businesses in South Africa, but business in general. So I will have the handcuffs taken off once that happens.
All right, but the point, I just want to make a point here. When we're in these type of networking environments, we mustn't be afraid to push each other and to have an individual to come back and say no, or hey, this is how I'm going to collaborate with you and this is what I'm going to contribute, rather than just having a talk shop and nothing gets achieved. So that's me, Ivan. I'll step back here. I'm going to push you, Elliot. You've left your details again, and we're going to follow through on this one.
Great, thanks, Trev. Yeah, we are heading towards the top of the hour, so but I did have a couple of thoughts on those discussions. You know, one of the things we haven't spoken about, and this question about the price of the trade fair actually raised it in my mind with the interaction that we were having there. And that is, you know, there's a very real opportunity here for CSI and ESD. So I think, you know, organizations that still do have CSI budgets or enterprise supply development budgets, those sorts of things, you know, definitely if they've got promising suppliers in their supply chain that are struggling because of the situation, why not look to apply that and getting them online in this kind of environment and giving them a real opportunity and letting them become members of the chamber where they can get, you know, quality input on their businesses as part of an ESD or a CSI initiative. So if you've got those kind of connections as well, I would encourage people to you know, see if the corporates have appetite for those elements, because as Pierre was saying, people aren't spending budgets in terms of M&A and buying up their vendors at the moment because they just don't know where it's going. But perhaps this is an easier in option to still show support. You know, one of my big concerns about helicopter money and universal basic income sort of grants and things like that is it's an unsustainable model. You know, we can dish out a bit of cash to people now and again, you know, to help them buy some food and put it on the table right now, but there's no long-term sustainability in that model at all. And then I think we all know that, and we've just got to get business back on its feet as fast as possible. So let's see if we can find the means and the methods to do that. So Trevor's coming back again after his final comment. Yeah, I think then we'll wrap up for this morning.
Okay, this is my real final comment, I think. Luther asked a fantastic question, and he did it privately, and then I put it onto the public forum, but I'm going to repeat again. He said, can I get involved in the mastermind group? There are things that I can do to improve the virtual trade fair. All I can say to everyone, please, you're involved with us as a chamber, you get involved here, you immediately become a promoter, you tap yourself into 15% com, and then you improve this thing as we're doing hour by hour, minute by minute. We are tweaking it because we developed it from nowhere in the first 21 days. So that's the process of actually masterminding here. You push yourself in because it's pumping your 15% stake in everything that we do here. If you look at this thing and how desperate business is here locally, a minimum of 1,000 exhibitors times 1,000 visitors, if we can help them to do that, or 1 million visitors in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Who else is doing that?
Great, thanks, Trev. Yeah, and I'll come to you now, Luther. So just a quick note, as I said, I think I've mentioned it before, but we do run Zoom sessions every weekday from 12 to 12:30, specifically focused on the trade fair, on the same Zoom ID that we're on at the moment. So you're welcome to join us. Those are also recorded and put up onto YouTube, so you can always refer back to any of the discussions that were held in those sessions. And Pierre also asked about Facebook and LinkedIn. We've got pages on Facebook and LinkedIn, both for the chamber and for the virtual trade fair. So please connect with us on those platforms if you haven't. You know, Trevor's an absolute machine in terms of pumping out content on those forums. So I encourage you to get involved there. And I think Cecile mentioned LinkedIn earlier. You know, Scotty Kundal and Majestic 3 are LinkedIn specialists. If you really want to grow your LinkedIn network substantially, get hold of Scotty, get onto his tech. He's got some free plugins on Chrome for LinkedIn that enable you to develop a really quality prospect base on LinkedIn. So I'd really encourage you to talk to Scotty as well about that. Yeah, Luther, you want to have a final comment there?
No, I just said I've already diarized the date to start making contribution, and if Trevor's there, I'd love to give him a hard time as well, because I love, and they have Afrikaans saying, harde koppe maal die meel. So I would love to work with energized and passionate people, and Trevor has already realized in terms of I'm one of those crazy Afrikaners. You know, I don't have a problem speaking my mind.
Fantastic, Lucian, and hopefully we'll be able to bake some bread or some cakes after those corporate have come by my car. So. Okay, folks, fantastic chat to everyone this morning. Really appreciate your participation, and we look forward to seeing you soon on any number of our different platforms. If you with us at the Chamber or on the Wisdom's Chats or on the Virtual Trade Fair or on Never Ending Networks, so we're around all over the place. So have a great weekend, and hope to engage soon. Cheers now.